Here is the headline for builders, security teams, and anyone deploying AI agents. This is not just another patch list. The strongest story today is CVE 2026-73299 and Prompty, a markdown file format for LLM prompts, because the affected renderer treated untrusted prompt templates too much like code. Also watch Microsoft UFO Mobile MCP servers, MCP Atlassian attachment handling, Prowler Kubernetes connection tests, and Microsoft's container migration accelerator. The main takeaway is simple. When AI tooling can read files, render templates, run connection tests, automate devices, or hold cloud tokens, normal input validation bugs can become high-impact security problems. First, the confirmed fact pattern. NVD rates CVE 2026-73299 in Prompty as critical, CVSS 10.0. The affected versions are before 0.1.5 and before 2.0.0 beta 5. Prompty is used for LLM prompt files, and the NVD record says the TypeScript Nunjux renderer evaluated untrusted.prompty template bodies with unrestricted JavaScript member access. In practical terms, defenders should not think of shared prompt files as harmless text. A prompt template may be configuration in one workflow, but executable-like input in another workflow if a renderer expands it inside a privileged Node.js process. Why does this matter now? Many teams are standardizing prompt files in repositories, notebooks, tickets, demos, and CI workflows. That is useful for repeatability, but it also creates a new trust boundary. If a build job, developer workstation, or internal agent service renders a prompt file from an untrusted branch, plugin, upload, or copied example, the process may also have access to environment variables, local files, package tokens, API keys, or internal network routes. The defensive response is to update Prompty, keep secrets out of rendering environments, run prompt rendering with least privilege, and treat prompt templates from outside trusted maintainers as untrusted input. Second, NVD rates CVE 2026-73296 and Microsoft UFO as critical, CVSS 9.4. Microsoft UFO is an open-source framework for intelligent automation across devices and platforms. The NVD description says versions before 3.0.8 exposed mobile MCP HTTP server functions without adequate protection, allowing remote unauthenticated access to sensitive operations on ADB-connected Android devices. The fix is version 3.0.8. The bigger lesson is about local automation ports. Agent servers, MCP servers, device bridges, browser controllers, and automation APIs should not casually bind to interfaces reachable by untrusted networks. For builders, the safe pattern is boring but effective. Bind local automation services only to localhost or trusted interfaces. Put authentication in front of any service that accepts actions. Use firewall rules on laptops, dev boxes, labs, and CI runners. Log tool calls. Separate test devices from personal or production accounts. If a framework exposes screenshot, tap, swipe, type, launch, or similar device actions, treat it like a remote control surface, not a simple helper API. Convenience features become security boundaries the moment another process or user can reach them. Third, CVE 2026-73498 affects MCP Atlassian before 0.22.0, and NVD rates it high, CVSS 7.7. MCP Atlassian is a model context protocol server for Atlassian products such as Confluence and Jira. The record says the Confluence upload attachment function passed a client-supplied file path directly into file opening without the expected safe path validation. For a user, that may sound like a file upload bug. For an AI agent workflow, the risk is more specific. If an agent or authenticated MCP client can choose a path, the server host may accidentally expose local files that were never intended to become attachments. The practical fixes are update to 0.22.0 or later, run MCP servers as low-privilege users, allow list attachment directories, keep secrets out of the service account's readable file system, and monitor attachment operations. This is a good example of why MCP servers need the same engineering discipline as web backends. Tool descriptions should be narrow, paths should be validated, hosts should be sandboxed, and agent permissions should be limited to the exact files and services needed for the workflow. Fourth, NVD rates CVE-2026-73263 and Prowler as critical, CVSS 9.9. Prowler is a cloud security platform. The NVD record says versions before 5.36.0 accepted Kubernetes kubeconfig content containing legacy GCP auth provider command paths and arguments because validation checked only some auth patterns. The defensive interpretation is that a security tool processing a kubeconfig may end up crossing into dangerous command execution behavior if legacy helper paths are trusted. The fixed version is 5.36.0. This one matters because security tools are often intentionally powerful. They hold cloud roles, inspect Kubernetes clusters, connect to providers, and run inside trusted environments. That is exactly why connection tests and import features should run in isolated workers with minimal tokens. Do not let untrusted users submit cloud connection data into a privileged long-running service. Keep provider onboarding behind strong access control. Strip legacy executable auth helpers where possible. Store tokens narrowly, rotate them after suspicious input, and review logs when connection testing fails in unusual ways. Fifth, CVE 2026-73298 affects Microsoft Container Migration Solution Accelerator, which NVD describes as a multi-service, multi-agent AI-driven migration solution for moving container service configurations to Azure Kubernetes Service. NVD rates it high, CVSS 8.7. The important operational point is not to panic about every lab tool, but to inventory where migration accelerators run and what they can access. Migration software often touches source configuration, cloud projects, registries, cluster credentials, service manifests, and deployment plans. If a migration assistant is agent-driven, its project access model needs careful review. Here is the sourced analysis across all 5 stories. The common thread is not that AI magically changes every vulnerability. The common thread is that AI and automation tools concentrate authority. Prompt renderers may touch secrets. MCP servers may bridge chat or agent decisions into file systems and enterprise apps. Device automation can operate phones or emulators. Cloud security scanners hold sensitive connection material. Migration accelerators can see infrastructure plans. That concentration makes normal secure coding habits more urgent: patch quickly, validate input strictly, isolate execution, and reduce credentials. Today's checklist for teams: update Prompty to 0.1.5 or 2.0.0 beta 5 or later where applicable, update Microsoft UFO to 3.0.8 or later, update MCP Atlassian to 0.22.0 or later, update Prowler to 5.36.0 or later, and review Microsoft's advisory for the Container Migration Solution Accelerator. Inventory every AI, MCP, cloud security, and migration service that listens on localhost, a developer subnet, a CI runner, or an internal network. Confirm which users or agents can call each tool. Then harden the boundaries. Treat prompt templates, kubeconfigs, URLs, paths, uploaded file names, and tool parameters as untrusted input. Run prompt rendering, connection testing, and file operations in sandboxes. Use low-privilege service accounts. Block unnecessary private network egress. Keep broad cloud tokens away from agent hosts. Require human approval for actions that change devices, cloud resources, repositories, tickets, or payments. If a vulnerable workflow processed untrusted input, review logs and rotate secrets that may have been reachable. Uncertainty note: this briefing sticks to NVD records and linked vendor or project advisories available during production. It does not include exploit code, payloads, or step-by-step attack instructions. Details can change as maintainers update advisories, so use the source links in the description for the newest patch instructions. Bottom line: AI agents and developer automation are useful, but every file, prompt, server, and cloud token they can touch is part of your attack surface. Patch the named tools, and design the next agent workflow as if inputs will eventually be hostile.